You started, right? Alright, okay, I'm going to preface this by saying that it is no way meant to be sexist, offensive, or anything, although it can be interpreted as that. So with that said, let's dive in. As seen in Obama's State of the Union address, your favorite presidential candidate's Twitter account, your favorite HuffPo article, or a post on your favorite blog, they all hold to the same narrative that it is unacceptable that women make 70 cents on the dollar that men make, which can be translated into a 70% gap. This is a phenomenon known as the wage gap, and I'm going to define that as the concept that women get paid less for equal work that a man may make. And my main claim being that it is a myth. It does not exist. My second claim being that a small gap may exist, but it is not attributed to unequal pay for equal work. Alright, so 77%, that is a huge gap, regardless of, especially considering the United States full-time working population. So how did these economists come to that number? So what they did is they got the full-time annual wages for women and divided it by the full-time annual wages for men. And when you do that, you do get 77%. However, this stat is misleading because it doesn't take into account career differences, wages associated with that, or hours worked within those careers. Why is this important? Because according to the Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation, physicians, lawyers, and dentists, all high-paying jobs, I'm sure you're aware. Physicians make $184,000 annually, 66% of those are males. Lawyers make $115,000 annually on average, 80% of those are males. Dentists, which make $150,000 annually, again on average, are 70% males. So with this taken into account, you can kind of see the gap taking place. However, when these different factors are eliminated and it is equal across the board, there is still a small gap. And what I'm claiming is that that gap is not attributed to unequal pay for equal work, but rather decisions made within those careers. I had previously stated that stat doesn't take into account hours worked. Again, why is this important? Because according to a study done by NBC, 69% of males are more inclined to work overtime as opposed to 42% of females. Now, overtime is defined as anything above 5 hours over the 40 hours worked full-time. Again, this is another career-oriented decisions that males may be more likely to make. Another career-oriented decision, a study done by Freakonomics showed that males are 50% more likely to travel for work. Again, this is important because with traveling for work, it may lead to bonuses or promotions or different things that, again, would start to shape that 77% narrative. When I said that females are more likely to make family-oriented decisions, the first thing that comes to mind is 12 weeks unpaid maternity leave according to the Family Medical Leave Act of 1993. So 12 weeks is roughly a quarter of the year. If that goes unpaid, that's a quarter of your wages that you wouldn't be getting. Again, we start to see the statistic take shape. Other career-oriented decisions, a study done by Salary.com, taken with 2,000 people, showed that 46% of men are more than likely to negotiate their salary when first hired, as opposed to 30% of women. However, within those numbers, women were 16% more tenacious and apprehensive of what they had wanted with that. Again, running with the family-oriented decisions narrative. The hypothetical situation that I'll use is, say, a child has a dance recital. The mother would be more likely to ask for time off work to see that dance recital as opposed to the father. Again, this may lead to different promotions or bonuses or things which, again, make the statistic take shape. In conclusion, the gender pay gap statistic is framed so that it looks like women are discriminated against in the workplace. However, when looked equally across careers, the gap goes from 23% to less than 5%, which can be attributed to career impactful decisions or negotiations and not unequal pay. Thank you.
This one.
And then original draft in the back.
On YouTube.
Where are my comments?
Oh, did I not print that one?
Yeah, that's the one I need.
All right.
So you hold on to that, and when you get it, bring it. All right, well, let me point out that there's a lot of good research in the presentation. Sometimes it gets cited, sometimes it doesn't. I assume a lot of the factual data came from some source. You've got, for instance, what the average salaries are for a variety of occupations. None of that gets cited. You've got some statistical comparisons between how long people are willing to work or not work overtime, that sort of thing. That's not always cited. Now, there's a lot of information that is cited as well. So I thought that there's a lot of information in the speech, but it was a little inconsistent on the citations. I thought the explanations were very good. You explained ideas and concepts behind these points. It just needs to be structured a lot more clearly. It doesn't seem to follow a particular pattern. I think I can kind of discern some of the distinct areas that you're talking about. They have to do with like you said, family choices, work conditions, and occupations that people are making. And so it seems natural that those should be the secondary claims, but it felt a lot like you were jumping around on some of those points. And part of the reason that that's the case is that you don't really have a preview of what the supporting structure is going to be, and there aren't any numerical signposts for those points. So even if they are logically developing, they all sound like they are coming in the same group of information. So I think that's problematic. I thought you did a good job identifying your main proposition. There's no preview of what the supporting points are. This seems like a good controversial statement. It's because you put it in the context of the election this year. I thought that that was reasonable. Like I said, lots of good statistical data. You're rushing a little bit, and I think that's one of the things that also makes it harder to discern where the different supporting claims are in your argument. All right. Thank you.